Hi viewers, welcome to today's episode of Hilary Online Maths class. Today's video we'll be talking about the theory of quadratic equation. We've not spoke about quadratic equation before, but this is just the beginning. But trust me, you are going to have the whole insight you need in quadratic equation. Quadratic equation is just an equation in the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equals 0. You can see that the power of x in this. Oh, before talking about this, let me talk about the linear equation. Bx plus c equals, let's take this to be 0. You can see that this is power what? Power 1, right? This is just a linear equation. Example of this kind of equation involves, let's say 2x plus 1 is equals to 0, 3x minus 6 is equals to 4. All these kind of equations are what we call the linear equation. Because looking at the power of x is power 1, right? But this time around, we have power 2. And you know, when we have power 2, that means two results. That's, when I have minus 1 power 2 and when I have 1 power 2. Minus 1 power 2 is the same thing as 1 power 2 because minus 1 squared is 1, 1 squared is 1. So that means anytime you have an expression, or let me say an equation that has the degree of the variable x here to be 2, that means you are going to have two results. So without wasting much of your time, I will just go straight to the point for now, but I'll be making more videos on how to derive the quadratic formula and the rest. But for now, I'll just give you the formula directly. It says for you to calculate x is equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b square minus 4ac, everything over 2a. Like I said, I'll make a video on how to derive this very formula. I'll also show you the remaining method of solving quadratic equation. But before then, let's use the formula and see what we can get. This formula is very, very important because now look at, suppose I have, let's say x squared plus 2x plus, let's say, 1 is equals 0. This is a quadratic equation, right? Because the power of x here is 2. So if you are told to solve for x, because each time you hear the word equation, that means what is on the left is equals what is on the right, right? So what value of x will I substitute here that will make what I'm having here to be 0? So this kind of equation, you use what we call the quadratic formula. And I said you should compare with this because this is the building block of quadratic equation, right? So look at, from all looks, you can say I have B, I have A, I have C, right? So look at, I have A, I have B, C. That means I have an A here, right? Because it's in this form. Suppose it's not in this form, I have to rewrite it to look like this, right? So our A, for the very question I'm having here, you can see the coefficient of x here is what? 1. And the coefficient of x squared here is what? A. That means A is what? 1, right? So how about B? You can see that B is equals 2 because the coefficient of x here is b, the coefficient of x in the question is what? 2. So that means b is equals 2. How about c? C is just the last number here, which is 1. So we have 1. You see, we have everything set. That means it's to just substitute in the formula here, right? So I'm going to have my x to be equals, they said minus b, right? So it's going to be minus b, but b is 2. So I'm having minus 2 plus or minus, right? This is square root of b square, which means what? 4, which is 4, because I'm going to have 2. Let me take it step by step. 2 square minus 4. What is a? Because we have a. A is 1, so 1, right? So we have c, isn't it? We are going to have c, which is 1 as well. Everything over 2 times 1 because 2a. You can see that I just used the same formula to substitute what I had, what I removed from the expression I compared with this very one. Not expression, but equation rather. So I'm having x is equals, I'm going to have minus 2 plus or minus the square root of 2 square, I'm going to have 4, right? Minus 4 times 1, 4. 4 times 4 times that same 4 times 1, I'm still going to have 4, which is 4. But everything over what? Over 2, because 2 times 1 is 2. So you can see that clearly from this point, x is equals minus 2 plus or minus 4 minus 4, that's 0. Square root of 0, normally when you have square root of 0, is always equals 0, right? So I'm going to have 0, but everything divided by 2. Sorry, I'm out of space. I will just use this, please. So I'm having x is equals anytime in mathematics you hear plus or minus, that means the result is what I explained before I started this question. Plus or minus means addition will work, subtraction will work, right? So you can, for quadratic equation, since I said your result must be 2, that means one must be addition, one must be what? Subtraction. So let's take it. Look at what I mean. I'll write x to be minus 2 plus 0 over 2, right? I'll take the first condition, which is plus. The next one is minus. I'll write the O. Then I'm going to have minus 2 minus 0 over 2. It's very clear, right? Because plus or minus. Plus or minus. I'm done with that portion, right? So the next thing is to just do the computation here. So my x is equals minus 2 plus 0 is just minus 2, right? Over, I'm going to have 2 or minus 2 over 2 as well, because minus 2 minus 0, it won't affect anything, right? So for this, I'm going to have x to be equals minus 2 divide this, I'm going to have minus 1 or minus 1. This very question, you can see I'm having two results. The addition and subtraction did not affect what I'm having. So how will you call, let's not talk about that for now. So that means this result, you can see that x is just one result, which is minus 1. Minus 1 can replace the O since addition and subtraction is same for this case. So I'll just use minus 1 as the result. So let's check it out. Let's see. If we substitute x to be minus 1 in this equation given, will it be 0? Let's see. This is minus 1 squared for the first one plus 2x, which is minus 1, which is plus 1, is z equals to 0, right? So I'm going to have 1, which is minus 1 squared, minus 2, because 2 times minus 1 is minus 2, then plus 1 is equals, I'm asking, is it equals 0? You can see that 1, sorry, this is plus 1. 1 minus 2, that's minus 1. Minus 1 plus 1, 0. So 0 is equals 0, which makes this very solution a valid solution to the quadratic equation given. So this is not the only method or way to solve for the value of x in quadratic equation. There are 4 different ways which we'll be discussing one after the other. So I just introduced the quadratic equation with the quadratic formula. I will have started with either factorization or any of other method, but I prefer to start with this. So I think with this, you have a clear insight about quadratic equation. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And also, don't miss out the next videos. Thank you.